Hello there. Welcome back to the Sky Guys podcast. We are back for week two of Maul Shadow, or episodes three and four. Or more probably chapters three and four dropped on Monday. We are back to cover the next two parts of Maul's story. I'm my host, Mike Phillips. With me, as always, the man who's always here in narration every week, Uncle Pete Consadori is here. Uncle Pete, how are you?
Good. Am I Uncle Pete because of Uncle was it Dido? I don't know his name. I'm
Uh,
terrible with names.
Uncle Jedi Master Palmer.
Oh, so now I've been deemed Uncle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing well. Excited to talk about these next two episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. Excited to get into it here today, and yeah, it's been a good show so far.
Yep. Unfortunately, Nick Friday could not make it today because he had some scheduling things at work. He couldn't get out in time for our recording. I want to keep you guys waiting too much longer, but he did leave his feedback for us. He did leave us the MVPs, LVPs, and so on. So Pete, we'll share all that at the end of the show. We're on Nick's behalf.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he thinks. Newsflash, I've seen the rundown, but you guys haven't, so we'll be excited together when we get to that part.
We know Nick's a big fan of Mr. Maul, so he's very intrigued by what's happening with the show.
Uncle Maul.
Yeah. He's not Uncle Maul. It's like
Not yet. Not yet. He might turn into Uncle Maul.
he could
We'll
turn it on.
see.
Could turn on Uncle Maul, and people want to subscribe us in the sky, guys. You can go Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon, all usual suspects. Simply search for the Sky Guys here podcast platforms. Love us there, and we're still in double drop territory. We're getting your flashback Fridays for Mando season three. This week, chapter 20 is coming out, so you can listen to back to us reflecting on Paz flying in the mouth of a dragon. Fun times.
Yeah, no, a ton of content's coming out. Make sure you're subscribed. Obviously, this is something new for us. We've done double drops in the past, but I think this is the most consistently we've done it.
Yeah.
So make sure you're subscribed because there's a bunch of content and it's free. It doesn't charge, we don't charge you guys anything. It's free for you. It's free for us, helps us out. So make sure you subscribe.
Yep, you can also check us out on social media at Sky Guys Podcast, our social media platforms. Email the pod, skyguyspod@gmail.com if you want to get into that here. And we teased this last week, Pete, for social media comment of the week. The listeners answer the challenge here. We're going to figure out who has the best reason for why the spin move happened in Chapter 7 Book of Boba Fett.
Now, this is all, I'm going into this blind. I decided not to take a look at this stuff. So I'll be reacting to this blind. If anyone has a really good reason, I will apologize on air. That has to be really good.
All right, so we'll give you, you have dealer's choice where you're going to go first. You want to go to YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram?
Let's go YouTube.
All right, so we'll go YouTube first. This is our Sky Guys podcast YouTube channel. You're gonna see that first here. So we'll pull the comments up on there. So this is some commentary here on this thing here. I'll give a shout to Melvin Womack 3717 who says the Barbarian should be the next track from this album. So good shout from him. Gary McFarland 3868 says he forgot to reload his weapon. They gave him a second to reload his six shooter. So it's a reload on this. What Garrett says.
I don't know about that one.
Uh,
I don't think you see him doing anything with the gun. Funny comment. I give them credit on that, but interesting.
uh,
Especially because I don't think I've ever seen people reload guns in Star Wars. I
yeah.
feel like that's just a continuous infinite ammo kind of situation. But good try. Good try.
Good trick. IB Dirty Glasses. Rule of cool always applies, especially if you're in a mod swoop scooter gang. Because I think this is more Rob Rodriguez.
This that nothing of this was cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The rule of cool I don't think applies here because I don't think this was a cool move at all.
Yeah. At Father Grimm. Well, whoever aimed at him missed. So obviously he had to spin to activate his plot armor, which that is my favorite comment of the whole bunch.
That one's good. That one's good. I will say the spin move for plot armor is definitely good.
Yeah. And at Shroom Ninja 654 says he's a gangster in Star Wars, a cool jacket, and cybernetic eyes because he thinks he's cool. So
Yeah,
Father Grimm,
the cool thing's off the table. I would say the plot armor is funny. That one's funny.
Father Grimm.
That has the lead right now. We haven't gotten to Instagram or TikTok yet, but that one has the lead.
All right. So Father Grimm underscore is in the lead right now. So
Yes.
I will switch. I'll go to Instagram. We have a lot more comments on Instagram. So we'll go there next. We'll go TikTok last. So Instagram, we have some fun here. This again, the YouTube version, Sky Guys podcast on YouTube. So
By the way, sorry, I just coughed into the mic. I thought I was muted. My apologies. Been getting over a cold. So for the people that just heard that, that was gross. Sorry.
yep. Okay, so a couple here. Crimson Chain Studios. They did that so we can all forget they also have the slowest bumper car neon speeder bikes in that chase scene. I think that's production wise, not the show wise. Street Kiltro says, I came up with some silly idea. I don't remember the scene with all the details. So maybe his provides a VATS-like aiming system, so he, with the 360, scans all his surroundings, decides which target to actually shoot at. Fourth thinking this is making a perfect shot and referencing VATS for a reason. So he's saying the eye is why he needs to spin.
He need to scan everything. Interesting.
Okay.
Not as funny as I was hoping for more funny ones, not actual explanations,
Oh,
because I mean, there's more here, but like I feel like the whole point of this was I needed the funniest comment. But I mean, that's a good one.
yeah, we got some funnies coming up here. Iron Giant 2512. He spun to make himself a hard target.
Highly unlikely.
Joe Easter 1. He tripped, went into full I meant to do that mode.
Okay, the tripping could be a thing. Kind of funny. Don't know about it, but kind of funny.
Yep. Outer Rim Ramblin'. He had to spin to whip the bolt further because the enemy was at a distance. Sunglasses emoji. We love our mod boys.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Trying to bend the bullet.
Okay. Nathan Thurman 19 says better get shot in the back than the torso while pulling out your gun, maybe. No. No.
No,
Uh,
no.
the _true_8. His targeting for your calculated spin move would increase these odds of not being shot during reloading. Which again, is another one of the things we're
Again,
reloading.
the reloading
Yeah.
thing is tough for me. I don't think I've ever seen someone reload any blaster in Star Wars.
Yeah. His eyepiece, this is TX Tiger 28K. His eyepiece assists in aiming, and he's like an old vehicle where they made you drive in a circle in the parking lot to calibrate the compass. He's needing mid-flight calibration.
So similar to the earlier comment, like need to scan the surroundings. This is more calibration. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
cool one.
Reckless shenanigans didn't really enroll the clip. And then Paul McGeary says Star Wars now a Power Ranger level franchise.
Hmm. Hmm. I still think plot armor's in the lead.
Flyers in the league. Got one more for
Yeah, one more. TikTok usually has some good ones, so we'll see about this one.
yeah. TikTok only had three comments on it.
Oh, come on, guys. Three?
Yeah, three.
You're
Instagram.
gonna let Instagram and YouTube beat you guys out? Come on.
Yeah, TikTok's usually where we go to first. They were last in this one here. So
That's what
one
I'm saying.
yeah, one criticized here, one criticized us for not explaining the plot, which guys, listen to the whole episode. We explained the scene before we talked about it. Karis says, I started dying this way he spinned. And then Christian at the bottom here made up the explanation. He spun because all Tatooine is believes spinning is a good trick. Direct,
Sure. What was that
direct,
first comment?
Borzek is mystifying me. Explain what scene you're reviewing first. 30 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
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 I
So
mean,
Christian's
listen.
taking the look at basically making an homage to Anakin with that one from episode one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That first comment, I feel like was the fact that it got 3 likes is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I just like to say, like at this point, just watch the show and you'll understand or listen to this Full Sky Guys podcast. I mean, look, every podcast has its clips, so we're sorry that we didn't explain it, but just kind of how social media goes. So I think the plot armor won. Now, I'm not going to apologize because I don't think anything was there that made total sense, but I will give the plot armor the funniest or slash the best comment to explain. But I will not be apologizing and taking back what I said about the spin move because I don't think it's actually a good explanation of why.
All right. So congratulations, Father Grim. You won the contest.
You won the contest. I maybe if you have a Twitter or something, tell us your handle, we'll shout you out or something like that on the Sky Guys podcast feed. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that we can give away or anything at this moment. But good job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Good job here. So thanks to all the listeners for participating. Great job for giving us some fodder here to talk about here. We'll go with the Star Wars news. Nick's not here. And Pete, I don't know if you're aware, Maul Shadow Lord was the #1 show on Disney Plus during its week of release. And I did check Disney Plus out today when I watched the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again. It's still #1 on Disney Plus.
Do we think now? I'm just going to play devil's advocate. Is there really anything coming out on Disney Plus as of late? Like I feel like this is I don't want to say recency bias, but I'm going to say maybe release bias.
Daredevil Born Again is coming out. It's beating that.
Which one came out?
Daredevil Born Again from the MCU.
That the came out like right now, like the same time as Maul Shadow Lord.
It's having weekly drops. It's dropping on Tuesday nights.
Oh wow! So then honestly, that's a pretty good competition, I would say, because I feel like people who were Daredevil fans back in the Netflix days, right? Because Daredevil was a Netflix show at one point,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like those fans came back, so that's pretty good then. I'll give them that. I thought maybe Maul Shadowlord was
The
like I
only
said,
thing.
release bias, where it was like the only thing really coming out. So that's pretty good competition.
Yep. That's a good sign for the show so far. The latest Maul Shadow Lord prequel comic, by the way, Pete, revealed that Lawson was a bounty hunter, prying Gajarian law enforcement. So Lawson has some bounty hunter background. I wonder if this makes into the actual show.
I hope it does. I feel like that'd be a nice angle. I mean, we're only 4 episodes in out of what? I think it's 10 episodes, right? So, right, we're not even halfway through. A bunch of story can be revealed. I mean, there was a pretty big, in my opinion, kind of a bombshell dropped in these 2 episodes that I'm sure we'll discuss in a little bit here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes to light at some point. Considering what the plot and where the plot's going right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's one thing here. Another thing here, Sam Witwer, who voices Maul in the show, also voiced Starkiller in the Force Unleashed video games, said in an interview that he's always ready to return to that character if Lucasfilm brings him back. So, were you a big Force Unleashed guy back in the day?
I was. I mean, I think we talked about this too when we did like that video game character to show character or
Yep.
something like that. Or was it like animated character to live
Yep.
action? Will it happen? And that was part of it. I'd love to see it. I think he would do a phenomenal job. I mean, he's doing great with the voice acting, but I'd love to see him on screen as a live action. Um, what was his name?
Starkiller.
Star Killer, thank you. I was thinking Star Killer base, but I was like, no, that's a base. But anyway, so I think it'd be super cool. I think it'd be really, I don't know how or where you would do it unless you do like a Forced Unleashed show. But I mean, I think it would be cool.
I mean, there's 70 million Inquisitors now in the Star Wars canon. One of them could be you could just make retroactively make one Starkiller and just tell a story that way.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to mess with canon that much if you do that. That's actually not a bad idea. I do have to say though, I think with his well, I guess it would work because he was Vader's apprentice, right? And the Inquisitors work for Vader, so it would
Yeah,
work.
yeah, you could just make him an Inquisitor who just kind of goes out on his own at some point.
Yeah,
That would
yeah, yeah.
I think that would work. And last but not least here, The Mandalorian Grogu is officially rated PG-13 for sci-fi violence and action. We are not surprised. Pete, the one thing I'll say about this here is, I know you made the joke here a couple weeks ago. You made a discussion a few weeks ago about like, this is either when Grogu talks in this movie here. Can you imagine if his first word is the F-bomb? The one F-bomb you get in a PG-13 movie?
Yeah, I was gonna say you do get one F-bomb per PG-13 movie. I think that'd be hysterical. I would love that personally, in my opinion, because that's just the type of humor I have. I'm sure a lot of people, maybe even including Nick, would be like, we don't want that, right? Just because it just probably wouldn't fit anywhere. However, that's my type of humor and that's my type of stuff, so I think that'd be hysterical. The PG-13 makes sense, right? There is some sort of violence in it. This is not some cartoon that's like all lovey-dovey and, G or PG. So, I think that it's rated appropriately. It was never going to make it to R-rated. So, not much news there, but very funny if Grogu gets the one F-bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this for Disney here. If we didn't get F the Empire and Andor, we're not getting Grogu giving us an F-bomb in the movie.
Yeah, I feel like Andor was the spot for cursing. I feel like it's like more of the adult show, right? A lot heavier, a lot more ramifications, a lot of darker themes. But it would be super funny. I would enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, I believe they did put F the Empire in the script, but I think they were told to change it. I think that's
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Disney's in the business of doing that. Maybe outside of like Guardians. I think Guardians they got their one F-bomb in. Um I don't know if that was in the Disney era of Marvel, but they did get their one
yeah,
F-bomb in at a PG-13. So,
yeah, because it was in PG-13. It was in the I think it was in Guardians 3 when they just dropped it
okay.
randomly because I know like Peter Quill like when what's her name Nebula's having trouble opening the car, she says open the fucking door. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the
So so yeah, I mean Disney allows it I guess in some things. But again, I mean I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a little bit different than Baby Yoda. So we'll see. I don't know if it's coming or not, but it'd be pretty funny.
somebody will is out there is gonna do an AI video of Grogu giving us
Oh God, someone's gonna take scenes from Mandalorian Grogu and they're gonna dub Grogu, and I think it's gonna be hysterical.
yeah for sure. So that's it.
And if you take that idea, make sure you reference the Sky Guys because we gave you that idea.
Yeah, so whoever's going on and making the Grok video of this, like, make sure you shout us out.
Yeah,
All right, so
we
that's it for
appreciate it.
yep, that's it for the news this week. Chapter 3, Chapter 4 of Maul Shadow War this week. Chapter 3, Whispers in the Unknown. Chapter 4, Pride and Vengeance. So these are the two storylines here. A lot of Maul progression here, Pete. I do appreciate the nice 23-minute run times. They're not like padding everything out to give you what you need in here. I feel like again, like on the way up, it's still going up.
It's still going up. I have to say, this show does a really good job at pushing a lot of content into 23 minutes,
Yeah.
right? We've had 45-minute, 50-minute episodes of Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, whatever, and it's just dragging. Like, this goes super quick. You want more. And quite frankly, at episode 4, we had a better mid-season finale than we did like in Mando season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So, definitely really strong episodes. Even in a tight run time, they're able to portray a story that's concise, makes sense, and is good all around. So, so far so good. The first 4 episodes. I mean, like I said, we're almost at the halfway point. Pretty good show. Definitely something I would recommend to friends and family right now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good stuff happening here. So I think we'll kind of go through the big storylines here quickly, which is I think episode 3, one of the big things on Maul's side is Maul trying to recruit Devin to the dark side. And I will shamelessly point out that I nailed my prediction last week where he did use his backstory to try and lure Devin to the dark side. You see that he cuts the lights into episodes, kind of like, trying to whisper like sweet nothings and says, lure her to his side. Yeah, they have this cool fight. Maul's taunting her by using one hand with a lightsaber. He lets her go away, but like I do think like very cool visuals here, very fun seeing like him, take his time, drop like lines that are gonna come back later on here. And the point where he lets her leave, but he reveals he knows her name, though she never told it to him. You could tell at her at the end there, she's just like spooked by this, and like it's gonna sit with her for a little bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they did this scene very well, and for those who haven't seen the episode yet, the scene is cut in between other scenes. Like, it's not just the full scene of Darth Maul in the darkness. They cut back and forth between Lawson and this. I have to say, one of the things that stuck out to me right away was one of the first dialogue pieces between Devin and Maul, where Devin accuses him of being a murderer. He's like, "Well, we gotta do what we have to do to survive," right? Like, he was very just like, I'm no worse or better than everyone else in this world who's done that." So, I thought that was a pretty great line, even though it was so simplistic. I think it was super powerful, and it just like was very just like, yeah, you're right, I am a murderer, but like everyone else is in this storyline, right? Like, if you know Star Wars as a fan, who hasn't killed when they needed to do what they needed to do? So it was a powerful line.
Yeah, I also like that they make Maul more Shakespearean in Clone Wars and Rebels, where like he's giving you these speeches and like he's turning your words against you, and he's like, "Oh, like you learned all your principles here, but like look where your principles got you here. Like you can use your skills to like do better here." And there are people who have things coming to them, so like he's slowly like he knows he isn't not going to turn her in 5 seconds. Like he's like planting seeds he's going to cultivate over like episodes and episodes.
He reminds me a lot of Thanos in the sense of he is a villain who is very, very good at talking and portraying a story and portraying their side in a sense of like, you should agree with my side, right? Like, I'm not doing anything that's out of the ordinary. It's just I'm on the other team, so to speak. So I think he does a really good job. In that. And like you said, more Shakespearean, more talking. I mean, when we first meet Maul, it's in episode 1. The guy has no lines, right?
Yep.
Almost reminds me of we talk about how, they took Boba Fett. Nick mentions this all the time. They took a character that barely had any lines, didn't really have any lines, to making a whole race of Mandalorian people and a whole lore and really capitalize on this. I feel like Maul is like very underrated in the sense of like they took a character that had zero lines, that was just a badass with a dual lightsaber, and made this guy like one of the smartest and most manipulative villains in the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to see him working. We see throughout the show that like he has, this plan going on. He's got this plan going on. He's got another plan going on over here. What Cass is doing with Vario. Like he's got like schemes on schemes on schemes, and like only he knows where it's all going. And it's fun seeing us trying to figure out what he's actually like end game is.
Right, and you mentioned Endgame, I mentioned Thanos. always one step ahead, right? Like always knows, like he let Devin go for a reason. Like
Yeah.
he knows she's gonna come back.
Yes.
I don't think, I mean, he says, like, you think I'm just gonna let you walk out of here and then lets her. So, like, I think he planted the seed and he knows that he got to her in a way, maybe by knowing her name or the way he was talking to her about, like, you have all this potential and this life you were promised was just taken away from you. Doesn't that make you mad? And, like, all these different things that are, like, if you were in her shoes, probably relatable, right? Like, yeah, that's right. I was promised something and it got taken away. That's bullshit. But I think he knows that he has, some sort of mental grip on her that she'll probably come back. Their paths are going to cross again.
Yeah, I do also like how this scene starts, or when we pick up the episode where she is broken out of her cell, and like we see like Rook Cass and like the Maul DeLorean's there, and his two Zabrak bros. They're like kind of like, he's over there if you want to talk to him. And then like you see he's just like kind of meditating in the other room. He pours her tea, which I think is, or it's a callback to like when he first meets Pre Vizsla in Clone Wars, like that they serve this tea. So like he's very like trying to lure you in, and I think that's a fun like sort of like Maul's like thinking, okay, like do I try the honey approach? Do I just plant the seeds? Like he's got like every different angle to try and get her over.
I mean, one of the first things he says to her is like, I'm paraphrasing, of course, is like, I know you have an opinion of me. Like, do you want to make that a reality? When he said, let me look at your wound. Like, you have this opinion of me. If you want to make it a reality, we could do that, right? Like, I could be the bad guy and I can murder you right now, right? Or like, let me look at your wound. I'm trying to be nice. So I think that was a super interesting way to start off that whole interaction. And I think it builds very nicely. I think that whole scene, even though it's chopped up, like, and you come back to it, I think it's beautifully done.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, like when she goes to the lightsaber, he immediately kills the lights and he's still talking to her throughout the rest of the scene, the rest of the episode here. Like it's very like haunting and menacing where like he's in the dark somewhere, like giving her like option storylines and like information, but like she can't find where he is. Makes it like he's like very like the very like the evil demon that's sort of like haunting her here.
I mean, it is called Shadow Lord for a reason. And like we talked about this before the show came out. This is what the Disney like horror project for Star Wars could have been, and they, or maybe was, and they made it into the Shadow Lord show. So definitely some tones of creepiness and horror and stuff like that um throughout the past four episodes, but especially in this one.
Yeah, I think a lot of good stuff here, and the lightsaber fight here. I loved how deliberately also Maul like does not. He only uses one hand here, just to like show like yeah, like I don't need two hands to like wipe the floor with you.
Well, here's the other piece, right? So like his two lightsabers interlock to make
Yep,
the long dual side lightsaber. It's almost like he knew he was going to fight her because
yep.
the he had his other piece on him, right? Like it wasn't like she took it and now he's disarmed. Like I think he knew this was going to end up in an altercation, wanted her to take it so that they could fight, so he could show how much more powerful he is and manipulate her into trying to join him as an apprentice and all that stuff. So even from the beginning, it seemed like, very calculated on Maul's part.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to leave that storyline for now because we'll check back with them later here. Episode 3, you also have the investigation going on with Lawson and Two Boots, where they're trying to track Maul's syndicate here. We get some Lawson stuff here where like Lawson, like we find out like I think he basically has to like bail on the thing because of he's like, I think his son Riley has a lacrosse game or something like that, and like the Star Wars version of lacrosse. So he finds Diodaki there, Jedi Master Palmer, and like they have this deal where they sort of like make this meet, and it's sort of like Diodaki's being kind of coy, saying, "Hey, my niece is in trouble when you arrest her. You have any idea where she is?" So like he's kind of saying like, "I need your help," but he's like not giving him all the information here. So like, Diodaki's still being very cagey.
Which makes sense. He's probably trying to keep a lot close to the vest because at this point he doesn't know he's a Jedi. So maybe that's why he was being a little bit, shaky about it. That's the only thing I can think of. Like to me, if you're looking for your niece, you give everything you can to the authorities to try to help find your niece,
Yeah.
versus like being like, I'm gonna keep some things close to the vest still. So I think it's because again, didn't know they were Jedi at that point. We find that out later, obviously, in episode 4. Um, but that's probably why. he doesn't give up everything right away or doesn't seem as um alarmed that she's missing.
Yeah, it is very interesting here because we also will learn more about Lawson in the next episode when he leads the raid on Maul's compound with based on the tip that Diodaki gives him. Like I do think it is interesting. Like you feel for the kid, like his son, where like you could tell like Lawson's kind of been an absentee father, and like when he showed up to the game, like I was like, "You came," and he's like, "Yeah, like I have nowhere I'd rather be than with you." And then he gets this lead. He hears about the basically assault that Two Boots has to deal with when they're trying to track down Maul's like dealings there with Vario. Like then he's like, is the kid turns around and Lawson's gone again? Like that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, they make it very clear that this guy's never home.
Yeah.
Like every scene is him at a job or at a crime scene or whatever. So, um, I think this drives the point home even more
Yeah.
that this kid's playing in this like huge stadium. I don't know how big of a deal that is in Star Wars land, but if it's like the layman's like us in like a regular town, like if you have like this whole stadium full of people cheering you on, you want your dad there, like his friend's parents saved him a seat, and the dad was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay here. It's a better seat anyway." And then just bounces. It just shows that he is very wrapped up in his work, and that takes priority.
Yeah. Poor work-life balance for Lawson.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of see more of why, I think, and we'll talk about it when we start talking about the Empire. But yeah, definitely no work-life balance. It's just work.
Yep, absolutely here. And also this ties into the investigation because while Lawson goes to his kid's lacrosse game, basically, Two Boots leads some troops to go find a meet here. They get ambushed by Team Maul, and then they this leads to a lot of friction between Two Boots and Lawson because Two Boots basically again says, "Hey, we're kind of out of our element here. We need to call the Empire." He's like Lawson says, "No, we can't do that. If they show up, we're never the same again." He says, "No." They goes to his boss and then she comes in and says, "Hey, like again, like your guy, I don't know what he's talking about here. He's like very obsessed with the Empire. He's obsessed with the protocol. We can't have this." And then basically gets Two Boots demoted to like desk duty because he does this. So Two Boots still on this kick of I have to call the Empire every chance I get.
It's on brand for droids.
Yeah,
And I think it's important that they keep that brand of like protocol because
yeah,
they are droids. They don't feel human emotions. So the fact that this is happening, I think, is a great way to portray how it would be to work with a droid, right? Like, hey, this is protocol. Like, it's not,
yep,
not saying anything about C3PO, but like, if it's protocol, they're gonna want to do what's protocol, even if the human's like, no. So
yeah,
they stay on brand.
yeah. Because he sort of looks at this as sort of like, okay, like we got instructions here, like that says, hey, if this guy shows up, call the Empire. Like, why are we not calling the Empire? He doesn't understand the nuance of what Lawson is trying to deal with.
Right, and he already spoke to Lawson about it once, maybe even twice before this time, and the droid's like, I can't keep taking no for an answer. Like this is protocol. We need to do this.
Yeah, which is why he goes up the food chain, goes to Lawson's boss, and says, "Hey, like Lawson's not calling the Empire. Can you call the Empire for us?"
Right,
Yeah,
right. And Lawson's boss is a human, or
yep, yep,
assuming he's a human in Star Wars, and so she's like, hey, get your droid in check here. Like, I agree with you. We don't want the Empire yet, but it's getting close. So it's on brand, like I said, for droids.
yeah. So anyway, while this is happening here, like we also learn Pete that Lawson's ex-wife works for the Empire. So you feel like that's part of the reason maybe he's a little, hesitant to get the Empire involved because clearly things with his wife did not end well.
Well, that's the bombshell, right? Like literally, just randomly, it's like, yeah, your former wife works for the Empire, just thrown into the dialogue. And I was like, oh, maybe that's why he doesn't want his son going alone to visit his mother, and maybe that's why he's working so hard right now because he doesn't want to maybe interact with his ex-wife, former wife, whatever it is. But he also knows how the Empire is maybe firsthand because maybe she worked for the Empire while they were still married. So it really hits close to home with this particular family. Gonna drive the son to the Empire though, for sure. Like I feel like all of this is like showing that is it Riley?
Riley.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names, so sorry. Even though we're doing a show, I should be better prepared. Um, I think it's going to drive him to the Empire and to be with the mom and not the dad eventually, because dad's just neglecting him.
Yeah, the dad is neglecting him. Is his first name is Brander. His wife slash ex-wife is Drea Lawson, and his son's name is Riley, Ryle. That's the
Got it.
on that. So like
Got it. All right.
pretty human names for the most part.
Yeah, Brander.
Yeah. Well, not Brandon, but Riley and Drea I at least heard of in real life.
Yeah, though those are I can see being actually. Brander is a little rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Close though to Brandon.
Yeah,
Close.
pretty close. So that's going on here. And in terms of the Tubus raid here, this does set up the whole thing with the Pikes here, where they let basically the Pike raid basically gets like broken up by the cops. A lot of like credits get destroyed here. Spice gets in here. This turned out to be like like the first stage of a long con by Maul, where he had the Rookcast says Vario called the Pikes, calls Krim, and says, "Hey, my bad. I shouldn't let the information get out. So we're gonna, make you whole. I'm gonna bring you credits. I'm gonna bring you everything you're owed and make you whole and more. I'll do it personally." He shows up here, and then we see what we think is Maul, mowing down a bunch of pikes with a lightsaber. Vario stuns him. Then we oh wait, it's not Maul. It's one of the other bros. I think it was Icarus or Scorn on which one, but then Maul like walks in the door, basically slaughters all the pikes in there, including Krim, except for like three guys. He points to them and says, "Hey, you're like, are you good with me?" It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Okay, cool. You're the leader now. You report to me." So very impressive, long con here from Maul to gain control of the pikes again.
There was a part of me that thought that that was actually Maul, but then the more I thought about it, I'm like, there's no way Maul was going to let this happen. Like, he's too calculated.
Yeah.
However, the shock of him showing up when the door opens it was like a great scene, right? Like it's literally the silhouette of Maul. They're all like, "Oh shit, that's actually Maul. We're screwed," right? Like, and he just literally like manipulates his lightsaber while Krim's holding it and kills Krim with his own lightsaber while he's holding it himself. I thought that was a really cool scene. That whole part, him like doing the slight jab at Vario, being like, "This is what happens to people who betray me," right? And like Vario's hiding behind the other Maul-esque guy, Icarus, you said his name is.
Yeah, there's two bros, Icarus and Scorn. I don't know which one was there, but one.
Yeah, whoever. And he's like hiding behind. He's like, dude, you are screwed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that this is gonna end well for you. So, phenomenal scene, in my opinion. I think this scene brings this is episode 4, right? This happens. I think this brings episode 4 to a height that like gets close to Andor proportions in the sense of it's just a really well written episode, and I think this like pushes it a little bit higher.
Yeah, like Maul comes out very well in this episode. I mean, like we'll talk about like his situation here. I mean, with the Pikes specifically, he now has that syndicate under his control. He has like a lackey there who's just reporting to him. So whereas Krim was usually out to screw him over again. So good job by there, and he wins basically in the fight for the most part. So, but like the Empire situation, we'll get to at the end of the episode here. But I want to go forward here to basically the big showdown here because Devin reunites with Diodaki. Diodaki wants to cut and run before the Empire shows up. Just, hey, we got to help these people. Like Maul can't, just be running around doing whatever the hell he wants, like for this. So they phone a tip in, like to basically to Lawson, and then he says it's like Uncle Dio, basically, I think 'cause Uncle Docky is the code name, gets Lawson taken seriously. The rest of the episode is basically this raid on Maul's compound, which Maul set up, where we have a big fight sequence between the Maul DeLorean crew and Lawson's troops. We have a big fight between the Jedi contingent with Maul and Diodaki and Devin. Like this was like 20 minutes of the 25-minute episode. This was so fun to watch this play out.
Yeah, especially after the whole Vario scene with
Yep.
the bikes. Again, what stood out to me was Maul's dialogue with Lawson.
Yeah.
I mean, look, is it the best written show ever? Like, I think Andor obviously takes the cake when it comes to writing and everything going on. But the dialogue that Maul has, it's probably the best written character, or at least best written villain in the Star Wars franchise. I'll just say blanket.
Yeah.
statement. If you have not watched Clone Wars and you have not seen his takeover of Mandalore and you haven't seen his small part in Rebels, comparatively to Clone Wars and this now, I would highly suggest you watch just the Maul scenes if you can. Listen to our podcast when we talk about this too. Watch this show. Like the writing for him is impeccable, and Sam does a phenomenal job at playing him, which we talked about last week too. So that dialogue really stood out to me, and he was very just like, "Hey, it's honorable, die well," and then just that's it, and like everyone just starts shooting. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think I want to give you give a direct shout to that exchange he has with Lawson before the fight sequence really begins because you brought up a great point where like Maul basically is on a projection that Vario sets up where he's not even in the room. He's just like somewhere else in the compound talking to him. He says, "Okay, here's the situation here. Like, I know you think you have the advantage, you don't. So here's the deal. Like, I will protect you from the Empire because I know you don't want the Empire here. Like, if as long as I'm here, there will not be Empire here. But I get to do what I want in terms of like my criminal underlord activities. Like, you look the other way, and if the Empire is around, I will deal with the Empire. So that's the deal. Maul offers. Lawson says, "Nah, bro. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, you're coming down," and then all chaos ensues. So like very fun to see. Like we asked for this in Boba Fett. Like, where is the criminal activity in the criminal show? We got it here.
Right. And I think too, the other piece was like, hey, we'll leave your city alone. Just
Yeah,
let us do what we need to do untouched.
yeah,
Um, but I use the word cookie cutter. This is very cookie cutter, right? Maul is trying to convince law enforcement to be like corrupt, and law enforcement's like, no, I'll never. And then get into a shootout, right? Like it's done before, but it works. It works nicely. Not the most original idea, but again, the writing around it makes a non-original idea still super good, right? There's a huge component in writing that the audience can tell this has been done before. It's same old song and dance versus like, oh, this has been done before, but this was good. This is a good way to do it, right? So, kudos to the writers. Kudos to Filoni, and I'm hoping that this momentum stays because we had like a phenomenal 4 episodes that has like to me a mid-season finale that's like, oh shit, like this is really ramping up. So they got another 6 episodes to prove that they can still keep this momentum.
yeah. I definitely love it here. And like, this is the actual protection rack we wanted Boba Fett to run. He never ran. This is like basically the same idea.
Yeah, exactly. But look at the two different shows and look how it was written. Which
Yeah,
one was better?
yeah. This one clearly.
Right. So, like, if you write it differently or you portray it differently, the same type of concept can be portrayed either really poorly or really well. So I find it very interesting that, you had mentioned it. Like, this is everything from Book of Boba Fett we never got.
Yeah, it is here. And while this is going on here, the main melee is going on. Devin and Diodaki have basically tailed the group there and say, okay, like we're gonna deal with Maul ourselves because the police are too overwhelmed with the common criminals. So they find Maul. They have this great fight sequence here where Diodaki goes the other way. He's like, hey, like just surrender, like just give in, like give yourself up, like you're outnumbered 2-1. And like Maul's like bro, you have no authority. Why am I gonna surrender to you? And basically they have this big fight. Diodaki like basically gets hurt very badly by Maul. He's about to be killed, and Devin saves him. And then as they're leaving, Diodaki kicks Maul's cybernetic legs and has an opportunity to get away. So crazy setup there here. And yeah, a meeting with Lawson there. Lawson realizes who they are because Lawson has seen the chaos up top and goes and finds them here. And Lawson learns they're Jedi. So a lot of fun elements in this sequence.
Yep, a lot is revealed. Lawson's just like, I don't care if you're Jedi, just get the hell out of here. Backup's coming, right? Like, very much so. Um, I guess a Jedi sympathist. I guess you would say. Is that the word? Is that even a right word? I don't even know if it's a word. Sympathizer maybe
Yeah,
is the word.
yep.
Considering the Empire is pretty much telling everyone, hey, if you ever see a Jedi, you got to report that in. Like they don't want the Jedi to be around. So he's a Jedi sympathizer. Again, I think that's the word. So yeah, I mean, I think look, learning that his former wife works for the Empire, learning that there's Jedi involved now, along with a former Sith Lord, which I don't even know if they know he's a Sith Lord versus they just see a lightsaber and like we need to like report it. And then what we're probably going to talk about next, which is the even bigger bombshell that ends episode 4.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy stuff to end us up for here. And I will also add in terms of the Lawson stuff here. I do think I think they do know who Maul is. I mean, they do have the intelligence from the Empire about like this guy is very dangerous. And I think the ISB report does sort of say like if he is seen, we had to deal with him because he's extremely dangerous. I think you have the idea that like he at least knows how to use a lightsaber. I don't think they know fully like his connection to
Oh
Sith.
no. Emperor Palpatine is not saying, "Oh yeah, he used to be my apprentice and I was having him kill people, so we don't want him around." Like he's just marked as armed and dangerous, if you will, right? And anyone with a lightsaber is the enemy of the Empire, so they need to be taken in, killed, whatever. Definitely known that Maul is not good in some sense.
Yes, that's for sure here. And the episode, the second batch does end here, like where you do feel for loss in there, where you see like the carnage from this thing, where like this failed raid, where a lot of the cops are like injured or dead. There's a lot of droids down, like police droids. Like you can see, like he's sort of just standing there, like, wow, like I made this big move, I screwed up. And then Two Boots shows up and he's like, "Hey, boss, like how you doing? Like I'm sorry, like you did this, but you're sorry. Like I'm sorry you got to hear this from me, but I called the Empire." And then we see a Star Destroyer basically fly up over Janix here, and you go, "Oh shit, things are about to get real."
Yeah, this was something that I expected at the end of episode 6.
Yeah,
Right? Because you have 4 episodes left. The Empire's in town now, but it actually kind of makes sense that it's earlier rather than later because now the Empire can establish their presence on Janix. There could be now an Empire dynamic to the crime, syndicates plus Small plus Lawson and the dynamic with him and his former wife. I mean, this opens up a lot of different storylines that they could start to explore now, especially because Maul Shadow Lord season 2 was already greenlit, right? So we know there's going to be a lot of different storylines that are probably extending past episode 10.
yeah,
So really, really good way to end this episode. Like I said, it felt like a mid-season finale to me. Um, but yeah, he was just like, "Yeah, I hope you can forgive me too." And then you just see Star Destroyer.
yeah,
And it's just like he went over his head. And I feel like one of my predictions will be, and just as a little spoiler here, is that Two Boots is gonna betray Lawson even worse
yeah.
down the line. I think it's just building to that, and this was like the first step in Two Boots kind of becoming not the friendliest of partners when it comes to Lawson.
Yeah, and I'll since we haven't really touched on it, I'll mention here the timeline according to the Wikipedia here. Like I mean, they log line of shows and they post Order 66 years, but I think they've calculated based on like Maul's not in Crimson Dawn, not dealing with Crimson Dawn yet, stuff like that. They estimate the time of the show somewhere between 17 BUI and 13 BUI. So you are well past the Bad Batch events here. Like this is a little further down the timeline than we have been in the immediate post episode 3 arc.
When was Rebels?
Rebels is 5.
Right. So we're not even close.
We're not even close to Maul showing up in Solo yet.
Right. And Mando is after Rebels, right? Way after
Man,
Rebels. Like we're
Mando
in
is
New Republic era.
Mando is 9 BBY, 9 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. So it's not.
ABY. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's way after. You're in New Republic territory. I keep forgetting that. So yeah, I mean it's uncharted timeline. I mean, again, how many times have we done this? But it's definitely this in between where you can work a lot with it and not really rock the boat too much because I feel like there's not much canon in this time anyway, right?
No, not really.
Yeah, unless there's other media like books, comic books, stuff like that I have not read. So I apologize if I'm don't have all the facts, but to me, visual media, there's really not much in this timeline.
Yeah, I know. It was like I know both Solo and Kenobi, the show, were around the same time, about like 10 years afterwards. I think the Cal Kestis video game, I think is maybe like 5 years afterwards, the first one. So like I think you're probably closest to that game.
Yeah, could have some Cal Kestis.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out what the Jedi Fallen Order like actual like timeline is. So I'm trying to look that up before we wrap things up here. Jedi Fallen Order in terms of timeline is 14 BBY, so we're not too far from that.
No, no,
Makes you wonder, would Cal Kestis ever appear in this show?
no. I don't think so. I think it'd be cool, but I just don't think he fits in anywhere unless Cal Kestis was also like connected to Uncle whatever his name is.
Uncle Diodaki.
Diodaki, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up here in terms of that. And I will say, well, nothing about maybe we get one of the side characters in the video game show up in one of his shows.
Maybe. I mean, I can't remember the character of the show, so to ask me side characters of a video game, I'm a lost cause.
Yeah, it's like maybe somebody in like his traveling party shows up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, so let's get in here. We update our trackers every week here. We had two updates here this week. So the first one that changed here, obviously, Maul's kill count. I gave him 7 more kills on the Pike base, so 24 kills for Maul.
We're not counting because it wasn't him, but we're not counting the first couple of
No,
kills when
no,
Vario gets off the ship, right? Yeah.
I had to go back and rewind once I saw it. Oh, wait, it's not his. I did
Yeah.
never go back in. I got 7.
Yeah. All right.
So 24 total here. And it's our second planet here. We did get off of Jax. We went to Obadiah, which is the Pike home base. So two planets so far.
2 plants so far in 4 episodes, 20 minutes apiece, pretty much 25 minutes apiece. So pretty good.
I'll also make a note here that I forgot to mention this in the pre-show. I'll probably do and I'll do it here, but like since we are getting Inquisitors, I will bring the Inquisitor tracker back once the Inquisitors show up. We'll see how many different ones we get. We're getting at least 2.
You think we're getting at least 2 in this
We've seen the
show?
trailer. We saw a Scarecrow guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yes.
And
Sorry.
Emma Rock. So like we know both of them are gonna at least be here.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I don't
They're
remember.
probably coming with the Empire.
Yeah,
Like we'll probably get those 2 in the next couple episodes.
yeah. I think next week we talk about those 2 guys. All right.
I
So,
agree.
all right. So let's go to the MVP board here. This is where we stand after 1 week of Maul Shadow Lord. Remember, we're doing 2 MVPs, 2 LVPs each week. So at the top of the board, Mr. Maul is +3, along with 2 boots. They are the 2 leaders here. They're the only ones that got positives. Negative ones are Devin, the title card animator. So Pete, do you think the title card animator did any better this week?
No, it's the same font.
Yeah. All right. So we gave those 2 negative ones, a -2 to Demas and to Jedi Master Palmer. So they
Let
are,
me let me say, if I may,
yeah,
the only reason why I gave the title card animation a LVP is because I couldn't think of anyone others.
yeah.
Like it wasn't like something that was like keeping me up at night. It's like I got to give this guy an LVP or whoever did it, guy, girl, whatever, right? Like I just was like I can't think of anything else. It looks like clip art, so like they'll get the MVP.
All right. So now,
LVP.
yeah. So we'll start here with the MVP section here. Nick left here out here. Same as last year. Him, Maul and 2 boots. Those are his 2 picks. I'll ask him next time we talk to him on the pod. He's not going to be here. He is actually traveling next week, so he'll be back week 4. So let's talk about that here. His 2 picks here. I gave mine. Maul got one, obviously, from me. I gave one to Vario. I think Vario had a good week because he is now, he's cleared out some more opposition on the planet here. He's in better with Maul because of the Pike deal here. Like, is he still terrified of Maul? Yes, but I think he had a good week. So I'll give Vario an MVP for excellent acting also in the Pike siege.
Mhm. I'll give MVP to Maul.
That's I feel like, I feel like at the end of the show he's not +15. Something's gone wrong.
Right. I mean, he's just been so good, and I think it's going to be consistent unless they have like one episode where he's not in it at all.
Yeah.
Like you can't give it to him, right? I will say I think Uncle Diodaki gets an MVP point for me as well. I think his patience, he helps out Lawson, he can fight pretty well, even though he gets kind of his ass kicked a little bit by Maul. But I mean, who isn't in this show? So I'll give him an MVP point.
All right, so that yet you're on the board here. LVPs, I'll start this one here. I gave Lawson LVP because he was the biggest loser this week. Poor work-life balance here. Gets basically owned by Maul's crew in the investigation and the raid, and then I loses because the Empire is showing up, potentially his ex-wife in tow. So he gets an LVP there. I gave one to Jedi Master Palmer because I feel like the whole idea is like if you know who Maul is, like Maul is not surrendering to you. I don't know what gives you that idea that Maul is just going to say, "Okay, you got me, give up, like you caught me." Like that's not happening. And I feel like like the idea here is like he's too cagey with what he knows about Maul, and I think he didn't give Lawson enough to properly prepare for this raid.
So you are canceling out my MVP.
Yes.
He's going to be at 0. That's fair. Listen, I mean, I get it. I think maybe he thought the sight of 2 Jedi would like freak him a little bit and be like, "Oh wow, there's Jedi left. I didn't realize." But You're right. I mean, I think that's a fair pick. Um, Even though I went the opposite way, I still think it's fair.
So what are your LVPs?
What? Sorry. LVPs is going to be two boots because that droid is starting to get a little bit out of control. He's definitely like he's following protocol, but he's not at the same time because a higher ranking officer is giving him orders to not do something, and he's like clearly just not listening.
Yeah, it's a
So yeah, so obviously, even though he's following protocol, he's not at the same time. So Boots gets an LVP. And I agree with you with Lawson. I think that he just, as much as I don't dislike the character, I actually like the character a lot. He just is getting like metaphorically and physically his ass kicked, right? It's just like every decision he's making is just crumbling to pieces. So, even his family, right? Like even with his son. So I think Lawson's gonna have a very big downfall in the next few episodes, like even worse than this. But I think he's gonna finish strong. I feel like he's gonna get some MVP points toward the end of the season.
I would not be shocked if Lawson is dead at the end of the season.
I wouldn't be either. But I feel like he's getting to season two. I feel like a lot of what's going on, you need Lawson for season two. Who knows? Like I said, there's 6 episodes left. A lot can happen, so you could be 100% right. They may kill him off, and then something else is kind of like the focal point opposing Maul. Um, maybe it's the Jedi, maybe it's not. So, I mean, it's a possibility, but I just have a funny feeling he's not yet. Maybe season two death, maybe.
Yes, I was looking more, maybe looking more from like a big picture production standpoint, because like you have an Academy Award winning actor voicing him in Wagner Mora, and I don't know how long you're gonna keep Wagner Mora around. That's more my reason. Like, okay, maybe they got him and say, okay, this is a 1 season deal.
Maybe.
Like, okay, he's dead at the end of the season. You get to like offer some representation, then you're gone, and then like we have a new sort of like person popping in to like work with Tubu to try and get revenge on Maul.
Maybe. It's a possibility. I could see them bringing back, though. I don't know what the budget for the show was, but I can't imagine this was like the highest budget show, right? I mean, I feel like this was, probably middle of the road because the animation costs money.
Yeah. All right. So Nick also joined me. Lawson, Jam Master Palmer. Those are his LVPs, probably for similar reasons I had. So Lawson
Probably.
got a triple tap this week from the group. All
Oh, I
right.
gave him the MVP. You
Not
got,
Lawson. Not I said Lawson got triple tapped.
oh, Lawson. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So next up here, we'll go to the grades of the episodes on a scale of 1 to 10. One is worse than 1978 Holiday Special. 10 is out there with the finale of Clone Wars for the pinnacle of animated Star Wars content. So I will start out here. Pete, what's your grade for the first episode we watched, Chapter 3?
Chapter 3 is an 8.5. I think that the writing's really good. I think that it's a really great episode. But I don't know if it's anything like super duper special, but I think the writing's good. I think the story's good, and I think it sets up 4 really nicely.
Yeah, I gave it a Nick gave it an 8.5 here, so that probably similar reason to you. I gave it an 8. I enjoyed this episode, so good stuff there. Chapter 4, Pride and Vengeance. Nick gave it a 9, which, spoiler alert, I also gave it a 9. I think it was a very fun episode here. A lot of good stuff happening here. Are you joining us in the 9 parade?
I'm at 9.5. I'm very high on this episode. Not only is the writing fantastic, but the way that the story progresses at episode 4, like I'm excited for episode 5.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these Star Wars shows we say that and it's true. Those are the higher ranked episodes for me. I think it's super up there. I know we're comparing it to like Andor when it comes to like the 9.5s and 10s, but I think this is a really strong episode of Star Wars. It's getting me excited for next week. And the action was good too. So 9.5.
Yeah, I think, and I also think it's separated here because live action is different than animation in terms of what you can do and what
Sure.
you're dealing with. So, like, I think on the anime scale, this is very, very high. I mean, we've given episodes 2s on animation. We've talked about
Right.
some of the bad batches. So, like, this is like a higher bar. I'm like, as Nick would say, like, if he's here, like, if you want immediately want to like click next episode here, they've done a good job.
Right, exactly. Which I was like, wait, I want to watch more. Like, what do you mean I gotta wait a week now?
Yeah.
I want to know what happens when the Empire finally lands, and I want to know what Maul's cooking up, and the former wife, and all this kind of stuff. So, definitely, definitely a good one.
I think the format's working for this, the 2 episode drive, especially they're only gonna be 23 minutes
Yeah.
each. Because like you're basically saying, okay, here's an hour of Maul shenanigans a week for 5 weeks, just to give you like an appetizer here before the movie comes out.
I will say I don't think weekly drops would have not worked, but because they're so short, it makes sense to just to and also too, it's almost like the Andor model. They're like different chunks of story. Like they have a beginning and end when it comes to the first episode and the second episode that they drop. So I think it's working really well. If they did single episode releases week per week to extend it, I still think it would have been fine, but it would have just gone a lot slower. Like we'd be like, oh man, we got to wait another week to figure out what's going on. It was only 20 minutes. That went by so quick. It's not enough content, so it's working.
Yeah, comparison to Bad Batch is the last animated show that was like on a week release. Like season one, they had first episode May 4th, and they went May 7th and just did every week until the end of the season. We were dragging towards the end of that season. Season two, they had the double drop at the premiere. They have, I think, a double drop mid season. Then they had the weird thing where they're overlapping with Mandalorian the whole way through. Like that was a mess of a season. Then season three, they has a triple drop at the top, and then they sort of sped us through that show a little bit. So I think like they did it. I think season three, they finally were into that. Okay, we got to do these more often.
Yeah, I think 25-minute episodes is kind of rough doing single drop. I think it'll work, but I think it's rough. So I think two is good. You get an hour. Doesn't take too much of your time for a week, right? Like it's not like it's a day. Yeah, I think it's working well for them.
I mean, think back to also with Bad Batch 2, when you have, we have, we get the Cody episodes the second week, and then we have skip a week, them doing the racing with Tech, skip a week, they're treasure hunting in a tomb, and then skip a week. We take this maybe a month to get something else we're interested in with Gungi showing up.
That's the problem, right? Like especially when you have filler episodes. This show right now with
Okay.
Maul, every episode is jam-packed with stuff and it's good. So I think once a week would have been fine. When you
Yeah.
talk about like Bad Batch when there's fillers and stuff like you said, it takes like a month and a half to get something interesting. You're like, what am I waiting for here? Like this is dragging. So that part I can understand.
All right. Last up here, predictions for week three, just chapters 5 and 6. Would you like the episode titles before we do these? They have those out.
Sure, why not?
All right, I forgot to do this last week. I will pull it up here because they have put out all 10 titles. So in terms of the episode rankings here, we cover the first four. Part five, or chapter five, excuse me, is Inquisition, and chapter six is Night of the Hunted. Those are our two
All right.
episodes here. So I didn't.
So
I'll go first this one. I made my picks of four. I read this just to set the floor here. I said that Lawson gets into trouble with the Empire for withholding information. I feel like he gets definitely like dragged in front of somebody. He said, "Why didn't you call us earlier on this?" And I think you're gonna agree on this one. I think the Inquisitors are here. They show up to hunt Maul.
yeah, I mean the episode titles are there. I mean I said it before. You mentioned the titles. I think the Inquisitors are coming with the Empire. I think Lawson's going to get demoted to like desk duty. I think the Empire's going to come and be like, "It's not your investigation anymore. Get the hell out of here. You're done." The chief's going to be pissed or whatever, and either put him desk duty or be like, it's going to be one of those typical like cop things, like stay out of it, and Lawson's not going to stay out of it,
Yeah.
and that's going to make the work-life balance with the son even worse because the son's like, "You're off this case. Why are you still working?" Like it's going to be one of those deals. So I'm expecting a very cookie cutter, typical cop kind of show where you're off the case, but he's never going to stop investigating it. I think Two Boots is going to work with the Empire, and that's going to make the tension between Two Boots and Lawson even worse. Um, and I think the Inquisitors are going to be, I mean, just from the episode title, we're meeting the Inquisitors when they come with the Empire in the next episode. And then probably the Inquisitors are going to start going out and trying to get Maul, and that's what's going to lead to the next episode.
Yeah. So you see a scenario where Two Boots is basically Lawson's boss now.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can 100% see Two Boots working with the Inquisitors and working with the Empire, and I can see Two Boots throwing Lawson under the bus and being like, he's working this investigation when he's not supposed to. Like his character's gonna turn real quick to like, even though he's doing protocol, very Empire is the winner here. Like I'm working with them, and we're not gonna like him as an audience. Excuse me.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting here too. I did also forgot to shout here. I did like the shot on Two Boots' desk with a picture of him and Lawson together. Like that was a nice little touch that they threw in there.
Yeah, where he like pushes the
Yeah.
cases in front of the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that relationship is completely tarnished. I think that Lawson's going to forgive Two Boots, but like as the episodes go on through the season, he's just going to be Two Boots is just going to be so far into helping the Empire that that relationship's going to be done. Like it's they may actually fight at one point.
Yeah, so that's going on there. Nick's predictions here. Empire showed up, which we covered here. He says Devin and Maul have a common enemy and have to work together, and that Jedi Master Palmer bites the dust. He thinks that Diodaki dies next week.
Might be by the hand of the Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Inquisitors are there now, so theoretically,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this week. Next week, chapters 5 and 6. So that point will be over the halfway point of Maul Shadow Lord. It's going by so fast.
Really, it's a really good show, guys. If you're not watching it, if you're listening to us, thank you, first of all. But if you're not watching it, you should be watching it. It is a good show.
It's a phenomenal show. Highly recommended here. And for somebody who I admit I am in openly probably too critical of the clones in Star Wars here, this is a very refreshing change of pace in the animated front.
Yeah, I fear that because the Empire's here, we're going to start to get more familiar faces in that sense, in the regard of like stormtroopers, the Inquisitors, stuff like that. But the way that this has been written so far, I trust that even though we've seen these kinds of characters before, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. So thanks again for hopping on here. People want to follow you on social media. How can I do that?
Yeah, at Consy29 on Twitter, CONSY29, AP Tyler 308 posted this background on Reddit, so make sure you check him out.
Yep, you can also follow me on social media at mphillips331. It's MPHILIPS 331. This week over on the Just and the Suffering podcast, we are getting ready for the NBA playoffs here, Pete. So the Knicks are in the playoffs here. We'll see how far they can get because there's pressure over there to win a championship.
New York sports, there's always pressure to win a championship. Rangers couldn't do it.
Yeah, none of the hockey teams made it. Nobody made it.
Nobody made it, which I think is like the first time in like
Ever.
forever.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, ever, which is crazy. I thought the Islanders were going to make it. But Buffalo Sabres made it, even though they're considered New York. I feel like they're more like a Canadian team at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's we'll see with the Knicks. You know, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but it'd be nice to see a New York championship. So obviously rooting for them.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes here. We'll be back next week, chapters 5 and 6 of Maul Shadow Lord. Until then, may the Force be with you.